Today brings major updates from the Kupiansk direction. The battle for Kupiansk has reached its decisive conclusion as Ukrainian forces successfully broke the final pockets of Russian resistance. After months of brutal urban combat, the collapse of these last defensive positions means Kupiansk is now fully liberated. With Ukrainian forces already executing a highly successful offensive, Russian troops made desperate attempts to re-establish a foothold using infiltration tactics. However, Ukrainian units had completely locked down the main supply and access roads into the city, turning Kupiansk into a closed battlefield where any movement was immediately detected and targeted. Russian soldiers were forced to resort to improvised infiltration methods, including crawling through empty underground pipelines. Because Russian forces had tried this exact tactic several times before, the Ukrainians fully anticipated the move. Deadly ambushes were prepared, and many infiltrating troops were eliminated before they even reached the city limits. Realizing the complete futility of their situation and knowing no relief force was coming, many remaining Russian soldiers chose to surrender rather than face certain death. The final strongholds of Russian resistance were concentrated in the local hospital, a mechanical plant, and one of the city's schools. Ukrainian drone operators equipped with thermal imaging carefully mapped enemy positions, identifying troop concentrations and tracking their movements between buildings. When Russian soldiers attempted to reposition into nearby high-rise buildings to attack Ukrainian supply lines, assault groups immediately responded and shut them down. First-person view drones targeted basement positions, forcing the defenders out into exposed areas, while ground troops advanced with heavy explosives to neutralize the remaining resistance. This lethal combination of aerial precision and ground assaults trapped many Russian fighters inside, where they were either killed or captured. After securing the high-rise structures, the remaining Russian troops became completely isolated within the industrial and educational complexes. Fires were deliberately set to flush out entrenched defenders, creating total chaos and forcing troops into the open. Most were eliminated, but several surrendered under the intense pressure, with Ukrainian soldiers documenting the captured personnel and weapons. The final and most heavily defended position was the district hospital and 2 adjacent apartment buildings, which had been turned into a desperate last bastion. Drone surveillance revealed Russian troops scavenging for medical supplies while attempting to hold defensive positions in the high-rises. Ukrainian forces responded by deploying snipers equipped with thermal optics in neighboring structures, systematically eliminating any movement detected on the upper floors. Additionally, FPV drones struck key positions to expose the defenders, and anyone attempting to relocate was immediately neutralized by sniper fire. When Ukrainian troops moved to enter the buildings, they discovered the entrances were heavily mined. Rather than risking unnecessary casualties, commanders ordered the use of massive explosive charges, over 200 pounds, to breach and destroy key sections of the structure. This was immediately followed by coordinated artillery and airstrikes that reduced the hospital complex to isolated ruins. Even then, drone footage captured surviving Russian soldiers desperately trying to gather snow for drinking water, highlighting the absolute hopelessness of their situation. Ukrainian assault teams were then ordered to move in sector by sector, clearing the remaining ruins in close-quarters combat until all resistance was completely eliminated. Following the destruction of these final strongholds, search and destroy teams systematically swept across the city. Using thermal drones, they identified hidden basements and shelters where isolated Russian soldiers remained cut off. While they posed no offensive threat, they still had to be cleared. Resistance quickly faded. One Russian soldier even contacted Ukrainian forces through the "I Want to Live" initiative, stating he had been abandoned without resupply for months and was safely extracted as a prisoner of war. As Kupiansk was finally liberated, Russian military analysts openly admitted the catastrophic failure. They detailed how the last defenders were ultimately wiped out after holding out for over 100 days in complete encirclement. Their anger has been heavily directed at the Russian High Command, which continues to falsely portray Kupiansk as contested or partially under Russian control, despite all visual evidence. Some critics are now openly demanding the dismissal of senior generals, accusing them of abandoning their troops and deliberately lying about the reality on the ground. With the final resistance eliminated and all remaining pockets cleared, Kupiansk is now fully liberated and under strict Ukrainian control. This battle stands as a massive tactical and symbolic victory, exposing the total collapse of Russian operational coherence in the sector and forcing even pro-Russian voices to acknowledge the scale of their defeat.